Welcome to this video. I would like to start by expressing gratitude to the Most High Divine Source for guidance and my divine ancestors for guidance as well. As you can see by the title of this video, this is something that I wanted to speak about before, and I forgot about it, and then I was guided to speak on it today. I have had a whole day already full of all levels of work, but I remember the topic. And alright, some real life interruptions there. But this video is about people that have coined themselves the employment of the term shadow workers. As if all the people that have been dealing with their own shadow throughout all the ages of their life are not familiar with their own shadow. You see, mine is right there behind me. I'm familiar with it. So, we don't need a shadow worker to employ themselves because we're familiar with our shadow already. We've been dealing with it throughout all our lives. And from our childhood to adulthood, we have learned how to deal with all of our challenges, aka shadows, and self-reflect and work through those things and heal them. A lot of times people that, another interruption, but a lot of the times the people that have this ideology that they about to be a shadow worker in somebody's life that didn't ask them to be, they often tend to look for certain traumas, pain points, weaknesses, insecurities that somebody might have and try to pick at those things and exploit those things in conversation and through actions, or both. And it literally makes no sense. Because when you're dealing with somebody that's working on themselves and that has been working on themselves, and they come into contact with somebody that has this mindset that they're a shadow worker in other people's lives, we'll be looking at them like, you said what? Because we already see our shadow. We've been dealing with it our whole life. So we don't need somebody to come and try to pick at our scars or our tender spots or whatever it is we're healing and working through. It's not necessary. And a lot of times when people do that, and you already in the habit of working on self, you be looking at them like, yo, this person weird. They tripping. They on some bullshit, basically. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. You know, I think some people are just so desiring of a job, you know, to do in the matrix that they have employed themselves to be a shadow worker in their mind. And so when they come into contact with people and they interact with them, they just looking for little alleged weaknesses or problems that this person might have. And this is the way to lose friends, to not have any friends, and to not influence people. Hence the title of this video. Because when somebody comes into contact with one of these individuals and they minding their business, just being, the love and light that they are, and this person tries to bring up something from their past, this person's past, this person's trauma, something that, they didn't already healed, or something that they're healing, or any level of anything that they assuming that they can, utilize, it makes them look very, very, very strange. Extremely strange. Because we're in 2023. And last time that I checked, people know that they're insecure. People know that they need to heal. People see their reflection. They see their shadow. Okay? All the challenges, all the traumas that are in opposition to their light, or casting a shadow, however anybody wants to look at it. But the bottom line is that people are already knowledgeable of self. So they don't need somebody that's trying to come into their life like, they're, some self-proclaimed shadow worker, because we be looking at them like they're crazy. And then just keep it moving. So, if you find yourself coming into contact with somebody that is bringing up aspects of your past that you didn't ask them about, sometimes they'll make up little stories. I've seen some of them in the past make up little stories so it appears like there's some type of synchronicity. But, thank God for divine guidance, to where I'm able to see that this is a fraudulent made up story to draw a synchronicity about something in my story. And that's something that I've seen shadow workers do, like a complete lie based off of something that I've experienced, just so that I could, or somebody, because people that's not really as self-aware, and people that are not really, working with their clairs and seeing clearly as possible, then they might think, oh, this is synchronicity. Like this person is like really being divinely influenced by source to bring up some shit that you ain't even talking to them about. Is it helpful? Because sometimes we have beautiful divine interventions, people that we love and trust that will come give us messages that are already in our heart, just as reinforcement, as validation. They're a part of your spiritual team because they're tuning into the God inside of you is already giving you the same message, and then God inside of them will give them the same message, and they'll repeat it back to you. So then, God inside of you is having a conversation with God inside of them, and then that's really synchronicity, because this is a divine conversation between two parts of God, and you're singing the same song, and it makes sense. What is not synchronicity, based on my Wama opinion, that it's not synchronicity when you have somebody that is looking and reading for what they appear to be a weakness, a trauma, an insecurity, something that they can exploit through their actions or their words. Not synchronicity. Making up lies and, based around something that they read from you, just so that there could be some type of bond or conversation. Not synchronicity. Another common thing with shadow workers is that oftentimes they don't got no friends, because they done ran off everybody with their little shadow working ways. That's something to watch out for. You talking about a grown person that's been on this planet for how many years and they don't got no friends? Well, that'll tell you a lot right there. Because I got friends from every age. Okay? I mean, like, I'm still, like, close. I got my friends, we friends to the end. Like, my real friends. You know? I got friends from every age. Because I'm a loving person and I share love. And I reciprocate love. And I'm not over here thinking that my job is to try to pick at somebody's shadows that they can see they mother freaking self. Okay? It don't make no sense. So, I got best friends from my childhood. I got best friends from my adult journey. And I'm so thankful for all of my friends. My friends, I love them. And I think friendship is very, very, very beautiful and very, very special. It's the God in you communicating with the God in them. And it's like, hey, and then everybody's familiar with their shadows and they don't be trying to exploit each other or make fun of each other or pick at each other because we can all see our shadows. We don't need anybody to do that for us. So I wanted to express that. Like I said, a common theme that I've noticed with shadow workers is they don't have any friends because they push everybody away with their shadow working ways because eventually people get tired of being picked at and, just dealing with that type of energy. Now, I do see that there are people that believe that because there are light workers, people that are helping people come into their light through sharing love and peace and compassion, that there must be the opposite. I understand where they're going with that. But again, they're making a personal decision to be employed by an energy that wants to utilize their gift to try to look at somebody for alleged weaknesses that they can exploit. Because when the shadow worker came talking to me, saying some stupid stuff, I was like, bye. Came to the homegirl talking some stupid stuff, she was like, bye. Because we ain't got time for that. We love ourselves. So maybe, perhaps, the shadow workers are serving some type of self-love test. And if that's the case, we did mother loving past because we were like, bye. And I think that's really, really important. Maybe they serve a purpose for the people. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to keep my mind objective here as to why people would choose this as employment. So, if there's people out there that don't really, love themselves enough, because it's a self-love journey, right? So, if they don't really love themselves enough to spot and see that that's some bullshit energy coming their way, because they didn't already work that out within themselves, and they don't need to work it out with this person because you didn't even ask that person for any of that type of energy. They just trying to flex their little shadow work and stuff. Maybe if somebody has not been working on themselves enough, I could see how they could get caught up in that. And then I could see how the shadow working people think that that's a valid position to play in somebody's journey. I'm just not interested. And I'm here to tell people that you can work on your own shadows. You don't need somebody pretending like they're your friend and trying to exploit you and your emotions and your alleged weaknesses or needs or anything about you exploited in any type of way. Totally, totally not necessary, in my opinion. But I try to see things objectively and figure out why they would even employ such a a job for themselves, and I guess, they figured that they're just helping people, you know. But I see my shadow. We've been kicking it for some years. We know each other. We done seen each other from when we was this small, and now we this big. Okay? So that's just most people. We are familiar with our shadow. We've been dealing with it our whole lives. We don't need somebody to come and look at us and read us and be, talking all this bullshit. It's not necessary. Not unless I bring it up to you. Not unless we bring it up to you. Not unless we say, hey, let's talk about it. But if it's something that we didn't even bring up and then you just trying to look for some openings, excuse me, and and that person is just trying to look for some openings, like some weaknesses to exploit or whatever, it's like, bye. We done already dealt with all that. And a common thing to take note for if you are suspicious about someone's energy in your life and the energy that they're bringing to the table, like if they're trying to do some shadow working in your direction, they will literally try to mirror things that they think are your weaknesses. Period. Things that they think are hurting you. Period. And they'll try to talk about it like they're trying to teach you about it, like you can't see your shadow. But we see our shadow and we dance with it every day. You live with your shadow every day. It's a part of who you are. We don't need nobody to exploit that, pick at it, or see if they can. It's not necessary, in my opinion. People looking for things that they think are weaknesses to comment on, to teach, to exploit. Example, I had just had a conversation with somebody, and I had mentioned that, I don't know, the conversation context. I'm going to just talk about the context and, why I view this person's character as a shadow worker. The context of the conversation was about friendship, and, I value friendship. That's why I'm still friends with my friends from all the ages. Elementary, middle school, adulthood, high school, the soul school. Because it's valuable to me. The God in me seen the God in them, and we connected. And that's a bond, and it's important to me. So this conversation was along that context because, when I extend my friendship to somebody, like on a personal level, then, it's literally an investment, okay, of my love. And the conversation was somewhere along those contexts. And then the shadow working person maybe felt like there was some type of insecurity there or codependency there. It was just the way that the shadow working person responded. And then they said that they needed to find some friends. Now, I'm trying not to get too specific because, I don't want to be very specific. But I hope that I explained it in a way that it made sense. Since me and this person were talking about friendship, our friendship, they felt like a need to broadcast that they needed friends. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's some weird shadow working energy. And that wasn't the first time that happened with that individual. You have to pay attention to the people that you bring into your life. What are they saying to you? And for what purpose? Are they trying to be helpful? Did you ask them for advice? Are they saying something helpful? Or are they just trying to exploit something? Something that they think might be an insecurity or weakness within you or others. And I think that's all that I have to say about this shadow working topic. Again, it was really, really fresh fire on me earlier. I was like, yeah. And I had it in my mind, and then I went through my whole day. So I was really just trying to get it back together so that I could convey this message. And I think I expressed everything that I needed to say. Shadow workers typically don't have a lot of friends because they don't know how to keep them. At least not a lot of lifelong friends. And that's because they're doing, they're treating people in ways, that aren't really conducive for friendship. Like I said, people that see themselves clearly, that see their reflections clearly, they don't need other people to point their reflections themselves out to them. They don't need people to it's frozen watermelon with almond butter on it. Not a big deal. Come in my video talking about pointed it at me and saying it's not that good. It's frozen. It's like a popsicle. Anyways, people that are in that type of energetic, it's not really conducive to friendship because they don't know how to have an authentic friendship with the person because they're so used to picking at people and looking at people based on their trauma and their insecurities and try to figure out ways how to communicate with that person through their trauma and their insecurities. Why? Did they ask you to do that? Did they say that they wanted to employ you as a shadow worker job, as a shadow worker therapist? If they didn't do that, then people need to sit down. They need to stop it. If somebody has employed somebody to do shadow working with them because they can't see their own shadow for some reason, even though they've been dealing with it their whole life, okay, that's their business. Sometimes, coaching and mentoring and therapy is good. No judgments. No disrespects to those that have a shadow working profession where people are literally coming to them for help with their shadow work. Okay? I just want to say that. These are people coming to them for help. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people, random people that, might be friend prospects, or you might think is your friend, or you might be acquainted with, and then they start coming up with this shadow working stuff. They start popping up with this shadow working conversation. And you don't have to deal with that. Not unless you find it amusing. People so bored that they want somebody else to talk to them about things that they didn't even bring up to that person. No, that's not interesting to me. I need to bring it up to the person. We need to be having a talk about it. But the thing about shadow workers, not the ones that are being employed by people for help. I'm talking about the ones that they like, you light worker, I'm a shadow worker. I'm gonna say this to you. Those people, they're oftentimes so lost when it comes to what somebody really needs to work on. Because again, they're reading and using their gifts in a distorted way, in an imposing and distorted way, because remember, they didn't have an invitation. And then it comes off inappropriate. And it's oftentimes incorrect. I mean, I have not seen it be correct yet. I was like, why does this person think that I'm insecure about this? Like, why does this person think that they can? This is unnecessary. We're not doing this, And I'm not the only one, Someone else had an experience. My friend had an experience with somebody trying to do some imposing shadow working solicitation on her. This shadow working solicitor was like saying little things to her in relation to her past. And she like, nigga, I didn't ask you about any of that. I love myself. We already dealt with that. So do you have something authentic to talk about besides what's none of your business? You got something authentic to talk about? Do you have something authentic to talk about besides what's none of your business? That's how I feel about that. And that's what I gotta say. That's what we got to say. Because I was told to make this video today. And yeah, I believe that's all I have to say. If people out there in these spiritual streets need a shadow worker and they're employing one to help them with their shadow work, that's their business. But again, people that you just met out in the streets or on the internet, you didn't even ask them for any assistance, and they just start picking in conversation or interaction, no, that's unnecessary. Because like I said, most of us that have been self-reflective, working on ourselves, loving ourselves, healing ourselves, we're familiar with our shadows. That's why I keep looking at mine. Every time I move, it moves. So I'm mad familiar with it. For real. We done been through all the shit together. So, when that person came along, I probably didn't do a good job. I don't know if I did a good job explaining that scenario, but the time that shadow working person came along and made the statements that were made and did the shadow working activity, I was just like, and that's how you feel. You just like, because I've been dealing with myself every day for X amount of years. Me and my shadow, we like this. We don't need that. Not unless I ask somebody. That's different. So, that's what I have to say. And I'm going to close out this video because it's getting long. And I want to respect people's time and attention spans. Have a beautiful day. And remember, if you feel like somebody is trying to pick at you, look for some openings, imposing themselves with some shadow work solicitation that you didn't even ask for, you can just politely and respectfully dismiss yourself from the interaction and let them go on and find their next target. And prayerfully, these people that are imposing their shadow working selves on people that didn't even ask them for any type of shadow work activity, hopefully they get to the point in their own personal shadow working with themselves where they're able to see the proper way to work with somebody and be accurate and not imposing. Because last time that I checked, the last person that came with that shadow working stuff that was soliciting incorrectly, me and my friend, we both had the same experience. We were like, okay, so this person is looking at some scars and trying to see if they can make it bleed. What the fuck is the purpose of this shit? Like, what? Yeah. So, yeah, I've been through that. And, yeah, I feel that way. And this is who I am. I see my shadow. So, yeah, I'm just not feeling that. Not feeling that vibe. And I think it's important to be authentic. That means you can have authentic communication with people, you know, based upon your relationship with that person and your authenticity. And to be authentic in communication means that you communicate from your heart chakra. But see, I don't know. Everybody's not on that page. And people just want to communicate from their mind. And then their mind is all like, I'm a shadow worker. Oh, I see this going on with you. Let me talk about it. So, hopefully they get to the point in their shadow working solicitation where they just become more accurate with people and more holistic. Because then they don't have to impose themselves. They can just be like, yo, I done mastered my shadow. And then it shines. Like, their mastery shines. And then they draw people in with their shiny, shadowed, mastered self. And they don't have to pick at people or try to pick at people. So that they can shine in their shadow. Yeah. I hope that the people that are imposing and soliciting their shadow working ways that nobody asked them to do master their own shadow, because that's going to be so shiny that they don't even got to go pick at nobody. They don't got to go look for nobody to impose any shadow working solicitations on. All right, people. I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in these spiritual streets. I have not. I've been feeling like I'm recuperating from a battle. And that's my business. I wanted to make this video because I was asked to, and I follow instructions. And so, yeah. Thank you for watching. And I'm wishing everybody lots of peace, love, and light, and familiarity with your shadow, yourself, and knowing that you don't need somebody else to come and reflect that with a mirror at you, because you can see it with your eyes. You've been seeing it your whole life, throughout all your challenges, every single age of your existence in your body. You've been dealing with your shadow. But if you feel called to deal with somebody who is providing professional services in that, no judgment, more power to you. This video was really just, in the context of how to not win friends. how to not win friends and not influence people. Because those soliciting shadow workers that people didn't ask for them to do that, they repel friends. And they're not they're influencing people to step away from them and not look at them and not listen to them, because the people that's already familiar with their shadow are just going to be like, what is this? This ain't even making no sense. I ain't got time for these false realities. I didn't ask for a shadow session. Okay? Because me and my shadow was already in a session. So, anyways, yes, lots of love, lots of light, lots of peace. Thank you for watching.